week, Thailand's water festival, Europe's sleeper trains, India's vegan leather, and Canada's ancient furball.
Over here! Hey, listen up!
Newsy! Newsy Paloozy! Hello, I'm Leela Shankar Prickett.
And I'm Lindy Prickett, a.k.a. Leela's mom.
And the big story explainer and sound effects engineer.
Yep.
Don't forget that. And we're Newsy Paloozy.
The news pool for curious kids and adults.
This week, it's Songkran in Thailand. No idea about their crazy annual water fight? We'll tell you all. Sleeper trains are back on track in Europe as overnight travel sees a revival. You've probably heard of pleather, but have you heard of fleather? Don't worry, we'll give you the lowdown on India's new vegan leather. And you won't believe what a giant furball found by Canadian gold miners has turned out to be. Hint, it's super nutty. Alrighty then, let's dive on in. First up, it's the
big news story
of the week. Well, not only is this a big news story, it's a big splash.
Totally. Yes, we're talking about Songkran,
which is the Thai New Year holiday.
We know what you're thinking. It's not January.
Nor is it anywhere near the Chinese New Year.
But a lot of different religions have different calendars and so different New Year's Day celebrations.
Thailand is primarily a Buddhist country.
Right, and the Buddhist era began with the passing away of Buddha, and that's 543 years ahead of the Common Era.
So it's 2023 CE for us, but 2566 for Thais.
Exactly, although they do tend to use both, to be honest. But yes, their official and religious calendar makes it 2566, and Songkran, which is on April 13th, marks the Thai New Year.
But mostly it's become a national holiday that's all about water. I'm talking about people parading down streets with water guns or buckets, drenching each other. Sounds fun.
For more on this story, let's go across to our new correspondents, Arun and Summer Gupte, who live in Thailand.
Welcome to Newsy Paloozy, guys. Over to you.
Thanks, Leela. So, as you mentioned, Songkran isn't really considered their new year anymore, since they officially changed it to go along with the Western calendar.
But it is still a national holiday, loaded with fun.
And when we say loaded, we mean squirt guns and buckets loaded with water.
Which is quite refreshing since it is held in the super hot month of April.
So, this tradition is thought to have originated a long time ago from ancient Hindu festival of Holi, which marks the arrival of the new harvest season.
And harvests were a big thing back then, since the food you grew was the food you lived on for the rest of the year.
But while the Indian festival of Holi, everyone just throws colored powder on each other, Songkran just uses water.
Because in ancient Buddhist rituals, throwing water was considered a good luck gesture to bring rain for the summer months to keep the crops growing.
And cool down, because, like we said, it is super hot in Thailand right now.
Luckily, this is a 3-day-long festival from April the 13th to the 15th.
Phew, more chances to stay cool. In Thailand, I'm Arun Gupte.
And I'm Summer Gupte, reporting for Newsy Paloozy.
Love it. Why am I not going to Thailand for this festival again?
Next year, maybe. We could do a special joint report with the Guptes.
I'm holding you to that. Otherwise, I might just do a surprise Songkran version here.
Moving on. So, what else goes with spring, Leela?
Easter candy, fresh fruit, and bunny rabbits, of course, and flowers.
Bingo! Flowers are everywhere!
Oh yeah, you're right. There's so much color right now. Tulips are my personal favorite.
I love the big, floppy, bright dahlias.
Oh, they're beautiful too.
Anyway, guess what one clever Indian company is doing with all the leftover flowers from spring and summer and all year round, for that matter?
Making perfume or color or dye out of it?
All good things to do with flowers, but what they're doing now is quite unbelievable.
Turning them into electricity?
No, but it is something as wacky and some might say environmentally or animal friendly.
What?
Okay, believe it or not, old flowers are being turned into leather.
Wow.
Well, vegan leather, I should say, as in leather that's not made from the skin of an animal.
I didn't even know that was possible.
Neither did I. But not too far away from us in Delhi is a company called Fool. That's the Indian word for flower.
Hanji. Right. Spelt Phool, by the way. Fool.
Thank you. Yes, not fool as in
Idiot.
F-O-O. Yeah, that one. No. The Fool Company, not to be confused with a foolish company.
No. They're rather clever, it seems.
Yes, they've devised a way to make vegan leather from flowers. For more on this, let's cut across to our Indian environment correspondents, Amira and Anira Mirza.
Take it away, twins.
Thanks, Leela. And thanks, Lindy. I guess you can say that this sounds unbelievable. Get it? Leaf?
Yes, thank you very much for that pun, Amira. But seriously, this finding is really cool.
It started off when some researchers found a thin layer of something that seemed like fungus on top of rotting flowers.
They were curious what it was, so they tried changing its temperature to see if it would make the flower change.
Well, guess what? It did. The researchers kept playing around with this.
Experimenting.
And eventually, these rotting flowers got to the point where they looked
And felt,
just like leather.
but does not come from the skin of cows. Which is good to vegans and many Hindus who don't wear leather because they believe that cows are sacred.
Plus, did you know the process to make animal leather uses loads of energy and water and produces greenhouse gases and toxic waste?
Not only that, but you can see flowers they're using from the temples across India, most of which have been sprayed with lots of pesticides.
Well, these temple flowers are usually thrown into rivers, lakes, and oceans, which pollutes the water.
So Fool is doing us a favor by getting rid of them.
They're now making wallets, bags, and even footwear.
Pretty good for a fool's leather, wouldn't you say? See, I can make a punny joke too.
From New Delhi, I'm Amira Mirza.
And I'm Anira Mirza, reporting for Newsy Perloozy.
So cool. Thanks a lot, you guys. I know what I'm going to add to my shopping list now.
By the way, have you heard of pleather?
Of course I have. You mean fake leather made of plastic?
Yep, so guess what this company is calling this new innovation?
Fleather.
You got it. You're so smart.
I am. Thank you.
Now, changing gears. Staying with the holiday groove, but shifting gears from festivals to summer vacations, who doesn't like a road trip or a train journey?
I love them both. In England, we travel by train, but in America, it's all about the car.
So, which do you prefer?
Aw, that's hard. Cars are snuggly and take you wherever you want to go, with all those fun pit stops. I love how each place has different local sweets and treats. Yum.
But we're often on boring highways, never mind getting stuck in traffic, and I'm usually the one behind the wheel having to drive. Whereas trains, I don't have to be alert all the time, and, we can walk around.
Oh, I love trains too. Going to the food carriage and seeing the countryside whiz past me as I walk down the aisle.
Sounds very cinematic and dramatic.
That's me.
Yeah, that is true. Well, I love them both too, but for train lovers, there's big news for our European listeners or those lucky enough to travel there.
Oh, do tell.
Here's a clue.
Mama, have you fallen asleep?
No, but I wish I could. All night long, on a train.
Sleeper trains?
Yep. Of course they're common here in India, but they're making a comeback in Europe.
Oh, I've always wanted to go on one.
Well, here with the story is Nandini Parekh, our reporter in Germany.
Take it away, Nandini.
Thanks, you guys. Like you said, in India, overnight train travel is still a popular and affordable way of traveling. It used to be all the rage in Europe too, before air and road travel became more common. But all aboard! The past year there's been a revival of sleeper trains. Tourists and business travelers are booking trains that zoom through the night between major cities. We are talking Stockholm, Berlin, Paris, Vienna, and Rome, to name a few. And yes, plans are underway to increase this network. I mean, what's not there to like? It's more legroom than a crowded car or plane. Plus, you can walk around while traveling through the quaint countryside. Never mind, you can sleep the night away in a bed, waking up to your destination. Also, it's environmentally friendly, as most trains are powered by renewable energy sources. And did I mention that train stations are typically in the center of the city? Very convenient. Now all that's left to do is convince your parents to book the family on one. I'm certainly working on that for this summer. In Germany, I'm Nandini Parekh reporting for Newsy Pooloozy.
Hey, thanks a lot, Nandini. You and me both. Mama?
Well, who knows, but I'd say you're both on the right track.
Haha, nice. Let's see what the Lucky Dip machine has for our final wacky world news story this week.
Step right up.
Have a go at the Lucky Dip machine.
The Lucky Dip machine.
What's it going to do today, eh?
An oddball, no doubt.
An oddball, no doubt.
Well, let's call it more of a furball than an oddball, shall we?
Ew, I don't like the sound of this.
Oh no, don't worry. It's odd, but not as ick as we first thought. Cue the music, Mama. So once upon a time, back in 2018, way up in the goldfields of Canada's Yukon Territory.
Goldfields is not a fairy tale fake place, by the way, but a real thing.
Yes, it's an area or district in which gold is found as a mineral. Not quite dazzling fields of gold, sadly. Anyway, hard at work finding the shiny stuff, some gold miners found a furball in the permafrost instead.
Yeah. So anyway, first of all, in case you didn't know, permafrost is when soil, rock, and any other sediment is frozen for more than 2 years in a row. But back to your story.
Thank you. Actually, it was more than a ball of fur, but a clump of fur, claws and limbs.
Oh, gross. I thought you said this story was going to get better.
It is, because after carefully studying this thing for several years, scientists realized that it's actually a mummified squirrel.
Aw, that's quite cute, even if you did squeak when you said that.
A perfectly preserved 30,000-year-old squirrel at that, called Hester, named after the area it was found.
Aw, cute.
Hester likely died while hibernating, all curled up, as Arctic ground squirrels do, in its underground den.
Oh, poor dear.
Of course, they didn't unfurl the poor thing, not wanting to mess up the mummy, but an X-ray revealed its intact bone structure.
Wow, after all that time? I have to say, this story is kinda nuts. Get it? Squirrel, nuts.
Oh, Mother, you love to end a story with a corny joke, don't you?
Ah, look who's talking. And it's time to wrap up the podcast with the top 5 facts heard today. Fab fact number 1. It's Songkran in Thailand. That's not just a water festival, but what else? The Thai New Year holiday. Fab fact number 2.
Thailand uses both the Common Era dates and the Buddhist era dates. The Buddhist era began when? With the passing away of Buddha 543 years ahead of the Common Era, which makes the year 2566.
Fab fact number 3. An Indian company hopes to make vegan leather made from India's waste flowers instead of the skin of animals. This is good news to vegans and many Hindus too, as they believe which animal is sacred? Cows. Fab fact number 4.
30,000-year-old furball hidden in the permafrost of Canadian goldfields turns out to be a mummified squirrel. What's a goldfield? A district where gold is found as a mineral.
Fab fact number 5. And while we're at it, what's permafrost? Soil, rock, or sediment frozen for more than 2 consecutive years. And don't forget, if you want to test yourself later on, then go to the Lucky Dip blog page of our website, newsypooloozy.com. That's POOLOOZI, and take this quiz online in your own time.
I repeat. Let's do squirrel version. That was POOLOOZI.com. And that almost brings us to the end of this episode of Newsy Paloozy. But first,
a big shout out to the Apple Podcast review left by Whodunit Lover, who wrote, "My third grader loves the fun presentation of world news and learning about more countries than she ever knew existed. I found that I'm using the information myself in conversations with adults. We both love the animal news segments, but especially when dinosaurs are in them. Thanks so much for our new weekly tradition."
OMG, what a sweet review!
Oh my gosh, I love this review so much because, like I say, we're the news pod for kids, but a lot of adults like us too.
So what about you? Why don't you leave us a review too?
And have you told a friend or two about us? Go on, we don't have any big marketing teams, or small ones for that matter, or sponsors, so we rely on you, our listeners, to help spread the word. Because the more people who listen, the more wonderful world news can be heard.
Don't you mean wacky world news?
Same thing.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, that's all from us this week. We'll be back in your feed next Wednesday with more wonderful wacky world news. See ya!